Hi guys, today we are solving a LeetCode challenge. It's been a while. So this is called Roman to integer. We have a Roman number and we need to convert it to an integer. In other words, that is decimal format using base 10. So we're going to get some inputs. You know how Roman letters work. We have a few symbols. They are letters from the alphabet and they all refer to a specific value. So I here refers to 1, V refers to 5, X is for 10, L is 50, C is 100, D is 500, and M is 1000. But there are a few things that make it a bit more complex. For example, if an I is placed before a V, that is not 6, instead it is 4. Likewise, if we have I right before an X, even though X is 10, we deduct I so that it becomes 9. So we have a similar logic here. If X comes before L, L is 50, we deduct 10, and that's how we make 40. If X comes before C, C is 100, it means we want to get 90. If C comes before D, D is 500, that's how we make 400. And if it comes before M, which is 1000, it means we want to get the value 900. They have examples here. If we have 3 bars of I, it means the value 3 as an integer. If we have L and V followed by I, then we basically need to parse this string so that we have L is 50 plus V, which is 5, that is 55, plus triple I, which is 3. It means 55 plus 3, and we're supposed to output 58. In this case, we have MCM. We again parse this string, and we need to understand these conditions as well, because when we are parsing the string, we need to apply that logic. Example, here we have MCM something. CM here is computed as one value. We see here M is 1000, but if C comes before it, it's 900. So when we calculate this value to integer formats, we need to take into account the position of each symbol inside of the Roman number. In this case, the value would be 1994. So I'm going to show you guys my code, but again, if you want to refresh your memory, you can go on rapidtables.com and look at that table here. You see that I is 1, but when I comes before the V, which is 5, then it's basically 5 minus 1. And we see this again for I before X, 10 minus 1. We see that also for X and L, it's 50 minus 10, which is 40. And that logic repeats itself even for 90, for example. Now I'm going to show you guys my solution here. I actually solved this challenge earlier this year, but I did not get the time to record this video. So let's go through it now. Before I jump into my logic, I just want to reassure you that the performance of my algorithm is good enough. It's not perfect, but it's about 90% better than the CPP submissions on the LeetCode platform. And in terms of memory, it's beating about 30% of other C++ submissions. All right, so this here is my logic submitted code. So you already know when you solve on LeetCode in C++, class solution and public is already provided. The name of the function, Roman to ints, so Roman to integer. We receive the Roman numeral as a string called s, that's the parameter. And now that is where I compute, I compute the values by parsing the string and applying the right set of logic to get the final sum of the symbols inside of the Roman number. So at first my sum is 0 because I have not computed anything yet. I here is for the index for each symbol inside of the Roman number. And at first it's also a 0. Now here I'm using a map. It's under the std namespace. A map basically pairs two different types of values. They can also be the same, but it's pairing two values together. So here I'm pairing a character corresponding to a Roman number symbol and a short. A short integer is a 2-byte integer. So instead of using a 4-byte integer, I'm kind of saving a little bit of memory space by using a short. So now my map is called letter map. What they wrote here in this challenge I is 1, V is 5, and so on, I'm having the same thing inside of my map right here. So my map is now pairing these symbols with their corresponding values. Now that I have my map ready, I can have a for loop and loop through my string. The string here, again, is a Roman number. So I need to go through that string, character by character, and get the sum. So here, I have this line 26, where I'm saying, add to this sum variable whatever is currently the symbol inside of my string. So to get the value for that symbol, I call my letter map, and I need to pass here the attributes, the attribute that I need to find to extract the value so that I can add that to my sum. So when I say SI, I mean the current symbol inside of my string. I want to grab that symbol here. Let's say my symbol is V. I'm going to get 5 for V, and I'm going to add that to my sum. And I'm going to do that for every character. But we have a problem here. Because we need to take into account these 3 different conditions, I also need to have 3 conditions and evaluate these conditions right here. That's why we have these lines at the top. So condition 1 says if the current character, the current symbol is I, but the next character is a V, that's why we have I plus 1 here, the next character is a V, or the next character is an X, then it means that currently we are matching this condition. The second condition says if the current symbol is an X, but the next character, the next symbol, is either an L or a C, it means that now we are matching this second condition. The third condition is if the current symbol is C, but the next character is either a D or an M, then we are now matching this third condition. Notice that when I'm looping through my string here, I'm saying if I is less than the length of my string, -1. Not just the length of my string here, but I'm adding -1 because inside of my conditions, I'm using I plus 1. If I don't have -1 here, it means I'm going to go out of bounds, and this is going to cause an error. So the I minus 1 here controls that. Now I need to check if we've matched condition 1 at this current position in my for loop. So if we did, then I'm going to get the next character, the next symbol. For example, let's say we are at the letter 4 here. See how 4 is written? If I go here, 4 is I and V. So let's say, for example, currently we are at I here, but the next character is V. What I'm going to do is grab the next character, I plus 1, the index I plus 1 inside of the string S, and I'm going to find the value for that symbol. So if we were at I, I'm going to grab the value of the next character, like I said here, the next character would be V. I'm going to grab the value of V, which is 5, and then I'm going to say -1. The same thing would apply if we are at 9. We'll have I and an X. So the current iteration would say that the symbol is I, but the next character is X. So I'm going to grab the index of the next character, which is X, right here, I plus 1 like this. I'm going to find that value inside of letter map. Letter map is this map here. So I'm going to grab the value of X, which is 10, and I'm going to deduct 1 to get 9. That's how we're able to control the conditions and make sure that we have the correct set of values to add up. Condition 2 is very similar. The only thing is instead of deducting 1, we deduct 10. So for example, if we go here, we are at 40, meaning that the current iteration will point to the symbol X, but the next character would be L, in which case we grab the value for L and we deduct 10, just like they're doing here, 50 minus 10. So here we'd look for L, which is 50, and then we'll deduct 10 to get 40. Condition 3 does the same thing, but this time around we are deducting 100. So let's say we are at C, but the next character is an M, then we need to deduct 100 to get 900. The same thing applies here. Notice I'm saying if C comes before a D or an M, then that is condition 3. So we deduct 100. Now, for every other case, that's what I already explained. We simply add the corresponding integer from this map to our sum. Once we are done with this, we still need to have one final check. Did we actually run or match any of these conditions? If we did, for example, here, CM, we actually performed our logic on 2 symbols right away in one shot, meaning that we need to move our I index by 1. Not just by 1 through this loop here, but we need to push it further by 1 so that we skip the 2 characters that we just performed our logic on. And once we are done with this, then we have one final thing to check. Is I equal to the length of the string? In other words, we were able to compute all the values necessary inside of the string. And if that is true, then we can return the sum. Otherwise, if I ended before the end of the string, which is possible because here we are saying I is less than the length of the string minus 1, meaning if the end of the string did not have any double values to compute because of these conditions here, then we need to add the last value from the string here, which was removed because of minus 1 here. We need to grab that last value and grab it from the map and add it to our sum and return it. Hopefully this makes sense to you guys. If it doesn't, just leave your comments in the comment section and I will get back to you. You can grab this, you can tweak this logic anything you want, but in this case, I'm going to make sure that I have the correct version here. Let's run this code on LeetCode. We've passed this sample test case. Let's submit this code now. And yeah, we were able to pass the test case here. So that's it for Roman to integer. It was my first LeetCode challenge in a while. If you like my explanations in C++, please subscribe to my channel and I'll catch you guys next time.